All right, so this is session 2 of Feng Shui 2, and this is the Kung Fu action film cinematic game from Atlas Games, and we're gonna roll with this. We are in medias res. I'm gonna have everyone introduce their characters briefly. I want to say a couple mechanical things, and then we're going to get started because things are already going haywire. So, Sherry, who are you?
Oh, I am a private investigator named Victoria Squint. A couple years ago, my boyfriend mysteriously disappeared, and so I stuck around in Hong Kong, and I'm still looking for him.
Awesome. And Pat, you are... Oh, I think we got you muted. Mike's doing that thing again. Nope. Oh, Google.
Let me,
There you are. We're back.
okay, you can hear me now?
Yep.
Okay. I had to switch over to my webcam.
Okay.
I don't know, this headset's not working or something. My character is Detective Juan. He's a detective. He joined because he believes that gang members have killed his brother. And he had really two choices. He could have went to the criminal side to try to get revenge, but instead went to the judicial side, legal side, and he's going to try to get back at him that way.
And he's looking into the White Bengals, right? That's the gang. Okay. And David, our Sifu.
Yes, I was playing An Defan, a very traditional martial artist who was hooked into all of this because the master who previously had the gym died, and he did not stop him when he should have. And I was at the convention when all hell broke loose, and my pupil was about to give a speech, and then I got caught up with all of this violence.
So sorry.
Sorry about how that occurred. So there was a fight at community center. There was a group of people that were attacked. They were escaping from a scene in an armored car. The survivor is Detective Jenny Liu. You captured some of the people. You followed Detective Liu back to the hospital where you were questioning her. Clearly something was going on. The people that she was with seemed to be, maybe they were investigating something. And kind of just when maybe you think Detective Liu is going to give you some information, there is the sound of gunfire down the hall. Clearly somebody is attacking the hospital. You can hear it echoing through the corridor. And so I'm going to have everybody roll initiative, which is a D6 plus your speed. I'm going to remind you about two factors of the game. One is you have it's fortune. In some cases it's called chi. In some cases it's called gene. That's a spendable resource stat. It will reset, so it'll go back to whatever it is, and you can spend that to give yourself an additional D6 on rolls. You can do that before somebody tries to hit you. Dice explode with the sixes. We rolled the two dice, the second die minusing from the first. And if you're worried about getting hit, when somebody goes to hit you, you can opt to dodge. It makes you go a little later in the round, so it eats up some of your action and initiative. So, An, what is your initiative?
My initiative is 11.
11. Okay, Victoria, what is yours?
Mine is 8.
8. And Detective Juan?
10.
10. Okay. All right. So you look out in the hall, kind of move out there, and you will see that the first figure you see is another one of these sort of scruffy looking guys. They identify themselves as the SLA. But this one looks a little bit different to you when you see them. They've got what looks like an enormous set of night vision goggles. But it's hard to tell from here because they're way down the corridor, but it almost looks like those goggles are kind of fused to their face. They're carrying some sort of very odd looking machine gun. And this person, sort of there's a green beam that they're kind of using to maybe scan. And they're essentially, looks like they're moving room to room right now. You can tell there are other people back behind them, but they are moving to essentially clear out the rooms. So, On, you are the first one to go. What do you wish to do?
I want to try and proceed down the hallway and like using my martial arts parkour skills, just be like jumping from like wall to wall to try and avoid this green beam. And is it possible that I get close enough to attack them in this action?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. You've got strong martial arts. You can make your way down the corridor. And if you want to come at them, the first one that you see, you don't know what the rest of them are, but you can certainly get a strike on them.
Okay. Yeah, so I'll drop like just below their scanning beam and then open my umbrella so it blocks their entire scanning peripheral before I start my attack.
Oh, very
nice.
We'll
see how that goes.
I'll give you a +1 for that stunt description.
All right, sweet. So it looks like we're at a -1 with your +1. Okay. Added to martial arts is a 13.
Okay, so that will hit. And essentially, you impact into this guy, and he staggers back. Didn't see it because essentially the umbrella got in his way. And you can see that there are about 5 other people that are kind of pouring out of an elevator and are splitting, half coming sort of this way down the hallway, and the other one's going down the other hallway coming. So there's sort of a parallel hallway in this hospital floor. You're like on the 3rd floor, let's say. Okay. Sound good? All right.
Yeah.
So let's do this. We'll pull Dan down to there. Detective Juan, you are next.
Okay. Wasn't there cops on this floor?
There were a couple of cops on this floor. You can hear the sound of them shooting and engaging. They are kind of the one that you can see here is down behind the nurse's station and has a revolver out and kind of peeking and taking a couple shots. But you know that a lot of people are elsewhere. They were taking the prisoners away. So it's a pretty skeletal force here.
So I think I'd probably tell the cop to, at least the closest officer I can see that's maybe taking cover, to lay down some covering fire so I can move across the hallway into a closer room to the perpetrators. That way, hopefully take them by surprise.
Okay, that sounds good. Let me have you go ahead and roll your attack roll.
Okay, it's 2d6. It's 4 and a 5. That's -1.
No, +1, right? Oh no, -1. You're right, because second one is that.
So that would be a 12, I guess.
Okay.
For martial arts.
Oh, sorry, getting this little tag. That will just hit them. Essentially, you come up and bring your strike down on them, and they fall back. You two have both struck this guy. He's trying to get this weird submachine gun up to shoot at you. So you two are up there. You will see at the corner of your eye stepping out of the elevator, like the last of these bad guys, a very tall, sort of crew cut blonde, very Austrian looking figure, kind of in military, sort of beige military dress. And he looks and he will raise his gun and take a shot at, let's say, Detective Juan, you were the last person to go, so he's going to take the shot at you. And he lets that loose and cuts a stream across the wall, hits the fire extinguisher, probably sprays that jet out across, but misses you with that shot. You will see another person behind that guy who moves down the corridor. The thing that strikes you is you're hearing this like motorized buzzing sound that kind of echoes in the hall as he runs down that corridor. And where you're at, Victoria, you can hear what sounds like someone with a chainsaw coming this way. There are some mooks here. They're backing up the Austrian looking figure. They move up and they're going to take their attacks on you two, who are up close. So let's see here. One and done. Okay. And on, these two come up on you. They've got Glocks and they fire and the bullets whiz past you.
Okay.
And Detective Juan, the other one, takes a shot and does wing you for 5 points. And imagine that they're kind of just crazed. They've got the t-shirts on, the sunglasses. They're clearly not particularly good with these guns, and they're just firing them off indiscriminately in here. So nurses are running, glass is shattering, people are running every which way here. The guy that you attacked, the one with this helmet, turns, kind of gets himself up and is going to take a shot at you. Essentially wants to get that up and under and hit past your umbrella. And he, again, like the others, sprays past you. So imagine that bullets rip across that. There's a ceramic tile on the walls, and there's probably that spray of that as it goes across there. Up close, you can definitely see that this is super strange. Those goggles are like someone has done some bad surgery. You can see where the flesh is sort of red around the edges of it, and maybe weeping in a couple of spots there. Victoria, what are you doing?
Okay, so I can hear someone, and they've got that weird sound.
Yeah, imagine that there's a parallel corridor to the one that they're sort of at the one end fighting at, and that sound is kind of coming down that parallel corridor.
Okay, so this is like a big square, and all the floors go from either side. Okay, and I kind of look at Detective Lou. How is she reacting?
She is, you see her kind of doing that classic pulling the IVs out of her arm thing to get up and essentially get herself to cover.
Okay. And so then essentially, since she's taking care of herself, what I do is I grab the gurney that they brought her on, and essentially I kind of give it a running shove and I jump on it sort of underneath, like on the wheels, so that my feet are on the wheels and I'm clutching the hand. And as I go by that first guy with the gun, I'm essentially going to shoot to get that gun out of his hands.
Okay.
Not the Austrian, because I haven't really taken him in. I haven't had a good, or wait, it's coming from the other side, right? Shoot. Okay.
Well, you can easily roll the gurney over and kind of pop out and take a shot at whoever you see in that hallway.
Yeah, okay, because I want to go towards that buzz sound. Does that
Okay.
make any sense? That buzzing sound. So, and I was
Absolutely.
thinking that was in the, and I go, no, you're telling me it was in the other one. So I'm going towards that other hallway. I want to take a shot at this guy, and whatever he's got in his hand, I want to make him drop it or regret having it in his hand.
Okay. I like the gurney ride through as a surprise maneuver, so I'll give you a +1 on your shot there.
I will take it considering my dice. All right. Okay, so that's a +1, so that's +2, so that's a 15.
15. All right.
And to do a disarm, if I have the chance, that actually makes it a 14. But essentially what it is they'll drop their weapon, and then they have a higher shot cost for their next.
All right. So here's what you see when you come past. You go rolling past the hallway, and you'll see this figure. He's got sort of strange clothes. They're a little bit tattered, and he's looking around. He's pushing things aside. He's kind of looking at the labels on the doors to see like patient names. But the thing you see is he has this metal buzzsaw on his hand. And you'll hear that ping essentially as you ring your shot off of his hand, and he'll kind of pull it back and looks at you as you go, and just sees the blur of you as you go past the hallway there.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
A lot of people up in your area. The Austrians backfiring. These gunmen are shooting at you. Got some blasting going on, and this guy with this headset very close to you. What do you want to do?
I want to try and distract this guy who is directly in front of me, disarm him, and kick him back into the Austrian fella. Okay.
So let's have you make that martial arts attack roll. We'll say you're trying to do an additional thing. So we'll are you more interested in doing damage or disarming, or is it disarming kind of a color thing? Or do you?
The damage is completely secondary. It's all about the disarming and disorienting of the two of them or one of them, whichever is possible.
All right, then we'll do it as straight standard attack then. Okay. So let's have you roll your martial arts attack.
Okay, so 3 or -3, so that's 11.
Now you could. Don't forget, always spend a one of your fortune points to roll a d6 and add it to that, or you can go with that number.
You said a fortune point?
Yes, you have like chi, right?
Chi is what I have. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the term for it for you, because this game wants to make it super complicated. They give everybody a different term for that.
Yes, that is highly effective. I'll do that and add a 4 to that roll.
Okay, so that'll be.
That was an 11. Now it's a 15, or is it just +1?
It'll add another 4 to the roll, so total.
Okay, so that was an 11. Now it's a 15.
Okay. So you will hit him solidly. Plant that. What does it look like when you strike?
Is that successful then?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll take my traditional like rice patty hat and like toss it at him. And he tosses his gun to try and catch it, and then looks at it, and I'm like, "You thought there was a blade in there? No, it's just a hat." And then I kick him, and he goes flying back into the Austrian.
And he's still trying to catch his visual input about what exactly happened, and then he gets knocked back into the Austrian character, and he's sort of stunned from that shot.
Nice.
I'm going to push them both back in the order. Here's what I'm going to do for that. So we'll move him back.
Nice. Did either one get pushed back into the elevator? That's what I want to know.
I'm going to say no, but you did essentially knocked their initiative back. So you guys can have another opportunity to act before they can go again. Detective Juan.
So yeah, I think before I engage, I pick up Fawn's hat and like toss it back to him.
Okay, awesome.
And he puts it back on and runs his hand across and tips it to you.
Nice. I gotta just nod my head at him, and and I go back in. So Victoria and the lieutenant, where are they at?
So, so there are two parallel corridors with a couple of cross corridors. It sounds like Victoria's kind of rolled over into the parallel corridor to engage whoever was coming that way. Detective Lou is probably still in her hospital room. But you guys have kind of blocked any attackers from getting past right now.
Okay. I'll probably run back into Detective Lou's room.
Okay.
And fire some shots that back down the hallway instead of engaging hand to hand.
All right. So let's have your attack. So the shooting the mooks, then they're probably the ones you can see most easily here.
Yeah, they're probably in the front of the Austrian guy, right?
Yeah, because the Austrian guy and Green Eyes got knocked back.
Okay. So yeah, I'm gonna take shots at whoever's standing up front.
Okay. Let's have you roll your attack roll.
Oh, that's +4.
+4.
That's a 17.
17. All right. So that will hit this mook. Yeah, and doubles are big win or big lose. I always forget that. That's right.
Do I reroll the 6?
Yes, actually re-roll it open-ended there.
Okay. Let me just roll another one here. So it's +4 and another 6.
And keep rolling.
It's +10. Oh, gotta add one. Another 6.
Keep rolling.
16. And a 4. So it's +20. So that'll be a 33.
So hang on one second. Let me go back here. I did this wrong. Yes, you hit all of them. What does that look like?
I imagine it has to be the quintessential John Woo flying in the air sideways, slow motion shot as I'm going from one side of the hallway to the other, sideways midair with 2 pistols popping off shots down the hallway before I roll into the other room.
And it's that slow-mo of them hitting. You've got that spray in the air. Someone was carrying some birds to deliver. Those go flying out, go through the hallway, and these 3 drop in slow-mo onto the ground. Victoria, where you're at, this guy comes barreling down the hallway and is going to try and get a slash at you. And is going to have a penalty because of the damage that you did to his hand. Does that seem reasonable?
Sure.
Okay. So he is going to take this shot on you, and he will miss with that shot. Essentially, cuts across. He will destroy the gurney you're on, though.
Oh.
And it comes across and cuts through, the spray of foam and cuts across the metal. If he had hit you with that, it would have been hellishly painful.
Well,
and it's your action.
Awesome, because the good thing is of course, when I leap free of the gurney, I happen to witness Detective Juan's beautiful gunflight through the air. So I whistle at him appreciatively. And
right.
and then essentially I'm going to, I think, essentially I kind of do that stop moment, and then this guy's right by me. So I sort of just hit him, like cold cock him with the gun. Essentially just trying to keep him dazed and out of it.
All right, so that will be a martial arts attack is what you're doing, is a kind of a punch, right?
Yes. In fact, it turns out to be.
All right, let's have you roll that.
Sounds like a plan. So +3, so that gives me a 15.
Okay. Gives you a +3. Yes, you hit him and kind of knock him back, but he is tough, and you'll see him kind of shake his head and raise that again, and see him kind of turn a dial, and the the whirring of it gets louder as it goes faster, like you put it into 2.
Oh, wait, does it go to 11? I look for the.
It will, yeah. He's got a little 11 written in there. On to Fawn. So here is the situation where you're at. You're up there. These two, the Austrian and Green Eyes, have been knocked back. Detective Juan has fallen back to protect Detective Lou and dealt with those mooks that were in the hallway. What do you want to do?
I really would love to get the detectives' help to push them into the elevator and send them back to the first floor.
Okay.
Is that possible?
How would we do that? What's the maneuver here you're imagining? That you just want to knock them into the elevator right now?
Yeah, like if I can get his help, like I think the two of us can like kung fu them into a retreat until they're in the elevator, and then I'll take my umbrella and I'll sweep all the buttons so they have to stop on every floor. And then
now
I
would say that'd be possible, but you're gonna have to do it solo because Detective Juan fell back to protect Detective Lou.
Okay, so he's too far back. All right.
Yeah.
Then I will try and do a flying bicycle kick to get them back into that elevator.
Okay. So I'm gonna say this is gonna be a stunt. So we're gonna raise the difficulty by 2. So you're gonna need to hit a 15 to hit them. Okay.
All right. Let's see how this goes. Might have to do another chi to get it happening. Ooh, maybe not.
Ooh.
We got a 0 with double 5, so that's starting at 13, and we re-roll, right?
No, you only reroll on 6s.
What happens on doubles?
Doubles just means if you do well, it's big.
Okay, so I can add another dice to this.
Yes, you could.
For a chi.
Absolutely.
All right, I'll go ahead and do that. And we get another 5, so that's going to bump it up to 18.
Okay.
Doubles still. Do I do something with them now?
No. What will happen is you bicycle kick into this Austrian, and you'll hear, crack as ribs give. You achieve the stunt, and you do it big, such that they fly back, and you are able to get your hand across those buttons on this round and pull back. Sound good?
Yeah, so I sweep all the buttons so that they have to stop at every floor on their way down, and I raise my hat and I say, "Have a nice trip back." Door slam shut.
As opposed to a normal door, it doesn't hold there. It does movie logic shut, closed on them. Detective Juan, you're down there, but you can see that the Sifu has knocked these people back into the elevator, and it looks like the only threat is you'll see this guy with a buzzsaw hand going after Veronica. Victoria.
So I would yell, Fawn, watch her. Now I'm pointing back to the room with the other detective. And I head down the hallway towards the buzzsaw guy.
Okay.
And I'll probably take shots at him if I'm not, in danger of hitting Veronica or Victoria. What's her name? Veronica? Victoria.
What's your gun skill?
13.
Oh yeah, so you were totally kick ass with your guns, so you don't have anything to worry about there. So let's have you make that attack roll.
It's a 0, so it's a 13.
13. Okay.
And what do I need to succeed? Because I might use a 14.
You actually need I think, a 13 to hit him.
Okay.
So you will put a bullet. He'll jerk back as he kind of realizes. See him kind of just barely keep the buzzsaw from his own face there as he's knocked by that shot.
He rolled doubles and succeeded, so he wins big.
Oh, so here's what I'll say then is when he falls, the buzzsaw gets caught in the wall for the moment, and he's trying to pull that back, which means that he's going to get delayed. So Victoria, you're going to be next.
Yeah, so I'd yell, Victoria, this is your chance. Get away.
Muted.
Let's see here. So his hand is in the kind of like stuck in the wall there.
Yep.
All right. Let's see here. What I want to do is something that is going to like stick him there a little bit more permanently. So I'm thinking, I'll look around. Oh, I know. Essentially, there's the nurse hiding behind the nursing station over there, and I'll go, anesthesia, or essentially anesthesia, please. And essentially, I want to put him out. So I'm like really calm. She really walks over there, gets some anesthesia, a shot, whatever, walks over and hits him with it.
All right. Let's do that using your gun skill to kind of, we'll read that as the damage, because essentially she'll throw you that and you can do that. How does that sound?
That sounds great.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm -3. I'll use some fortune.
Well, you have to first, your 6 is going to explode.
Oh, goody, goody. Okay, so here's my next 6.
Okay.
So it only explodes that much.
Okay. So you're at -4 right now.
Mm-hmm.
With your guns total. You could spend a fortune point to boost that if you wished.
And in fact, I wish to do that.
Okay. You want high.
I know, I really do. And I got it. So I got a 6. So it ends up with a +2 to my score. So
ends up with.
Did that 6 explode as well?
Oh.
No, not on the fortune dice.
Oh, okay.
But good goob though. So you will slam that into him and hit the plunger on it, and he will start to fade. Again, movie logic.
Right.
It would not. So he's kind of doing that stumble there. So we'll kind of move out of combat here. Because the other bad guys are right now going down to every floor, and they're going to have to get up and then try to get the door before it shuts and then try and run back up here. So what do you 3 wish to do?
I try to restrain or handcuff the guy with the buzzsaw. I don't know how effective a handcuff would be on a guy with a buzzsaw.
Well, if you put it on the buzzsaw hand and then hit him up to like a pipe here, he's not going to be able to get that, and it looks like he's going to be out for a while.
Yeah, because I want to restrain him because I want to arrest him and ask him questions.
Okay. Detective Juan does that. What are you doing on Defon?
Okay, so these 2 other fellas that I sent back down, like, hopefully they're going to have to run into some opposition before they get to us again. But I guess just in case, like, you said there were some police officers on this floor that were somewhat ineffectuate, but I would be directing them to, like, blocking any stairwells and then disabling the elevators from getting to this floor as much as possible.
All right, so you're ordering that. So right now you're directing them, and they will essentially get stuff up against those doors, and they're essentially pulling the emergency button on the elevators to stop them. Victoria, what do you want to do?
I'm going to go back to Detective Lou, and I'm going to go, well, you're the only one who really knows what it is that's coming after us, but you need to get out of here because they're coming after you. So which way do you want to go? But essentially she's getting her coat, essentially out of the closet for her and handing it to her, getting her shoes, getting her so she can kind of, are you need a wheelchair?
She said, no, I can walk. I can walk. We've got to get to a car. We've got to get out of here. So she'll grab up her stuff and move with you out into the hallway. Okay. So Detective Juan, you'll see Victoria moving Detective Lou out into the hallway. They're clearly moving to find a way out.
Where are you going?
And I said, well, we got to get out of here because they're after her. I'm thinking up to the roof, maybe get the medical helicopter, see if we can catch a ride to somewhere.
That sounds great. You should get her out of here.
Okay, that's what I'll do. Aren't you
But
coming?
I'm gonna stay with our blonde friend here for a second. I start slapping him around, trying to wake him up.
Detective Lou says, if you want to know what's going on, Juan, we got to get a car. You got to come with me.
But what about this guy?
Small potatoes. There's a bigger operation at stake here.
Okay, so I get up and I slap the guy one more time and walk over with them.
What about you?
I'm like around the corner from them, but I like wave at them to try and get their attention. I'm like, this way, this way. This is the way for the medical personnel's elevators to the roof. Because all hospitals have the guest elevators and then the medical staff elevators, and I'm holding one of them open.
All right. So we will cut to you guys running to that. You're a doctor. You've worked in hospitals, though your medical training is traditional. So I want to say you know that, and you guys will book upstairs. Of course, they're delivering a transplant organ, so the helicopter is there, and the rotors are going, and they're just handing it off, and you guys can rush the helicopter. How are you taking command here?
Oh, I just show him the badge.
Okay.
Just show my badge. Detective Juan, commandeering this helicopter.
Oh, and they're like, but, and guys roll in, and they will lift off into the air. Okay. I'm going to take a break here, if I can, for just a minute, so I can make some adjustments to the app sheet here. Is that cool with you guys?
That's cool.
Okay.
So what, 5, 10?
Yeah, let's give me 5 here.
All right.
So this app I have for this is great fan made app. It lacks a few functions like the ability to delete characters, things like that, or fix a lot of things on the fly, which is it's really nice, but there are a few limitations to it.
Yeah, it's like I always like have mixed feelings about using technology in like that way for like board game kind of stuff, but but for games that I want to tell a story with, it's so helpful.
Yeah, it's certainly speeding things up because I can't imagine what it would take for me to roll all that stuff. Michael says he's sorry he had unexpected crisis at work, and he apologized for not being able to make it. So
that's too bad.
So we're gonna sort of montage cut. All right. Essentially, we don't see how you landed the copter. We don't see how you drove the car. We don't see any of that stuff. Instead, we cut to a sort of a rough neighborhood of Hong Kong, and we're at an area that looks like sort of old Hong Kong, neon and buildings with layers and layers of plastering posters and things like that. The kind of urban revival and upscale changes had not come here. And Detective Lou will walk you up a dusty, narrow hallway. You have all the smells of the restaurants and the factories and things downstairs, the sweatshops and so on. And he'll move you up to a third floor location where she will kind of carefully enter in a set of code numbers on a number pad there. Looks a little out of place. And she'll open this up, and it's kind of a crack, and there's a big office, like a PI style office, as you will recognize, Victoria. It has some beds in it. It's sort of dusty. You'll see that there are a set of cork boards over on one wall. There's like a dot matrix printer. There's a coffee maker that is clear glass, but it's so old it's kind of stained with all of that sort of geological levels of burnt coffee in it. And the whole place smells of kind of an old school workshop. And you can see that on that corkboard there are pictures, and there are strings, and there are newspaper clippings, and all of that kind of stuff. And Detective Lou is kind of exhausted, and she'll drop herself, onto one of the beds to kind of catch her breath. So Victoria, this is kind of your element. So what do you do?
Well, the first thing I do, because I can't help it, the corkboard draws me to it. And essentially I walk over and I try to get a feel for the web, what it's got at its center, what is radiating around those things, what's the nature of it. Are we in some sort of strange, underworld lords, or what is what she's trying to figure out.
Let's have you make a detective check.
Okay, I will try that. Oh, geez. So my detective score is 15, so that would give me a 12 in that.
That's still decent. Okay. That's still so what you will pick out here is that clearly there are several groups that they're trying to track. And you will see over one area, you'll spot like a long distance surveillance shot of that Austrian guy that you saw at the hospital, and some other pictures, notes. They have the a post-it note with SLA written on it, and they've got some other things. Like clearly this group has been doing some criminal activities, but they've got some other agenda, and you kind of start to follow that back. But your eye is caught, and you look over onto sort of the far side, and you will see a picture of your boyfriend.
I look at my boyfriend. I look at the things that are next to it. What do they know?
There are. It looks like there's some weird symbols, and it says third disappearance. What does this mean? Chi fortune rewriting, and there's some other gibberish there that you don't quite understand.
Okay.
I'll come back to you.
Thanks.
Detective Juan.
Yep.
So what are you doing?
I'm kind of like walking around. I kind of, walk past Victoria and the cork board and look at the cork board and walk over to the desk and kind of shuffle through a little bit of the papers and, kind of pick up the coffee pot and just look at it and just toss it back into the, pick up the carafe, look at it and just toss it back into the coffee pot maker. And, I look at Detective Lou and I'm like, so what? Your precinct not good enough for you? What is this place?
This is our safe house. This is where we fought against people like the people we saw at the hospital. It's bigger than just that. It's bigger than guns. It's bigger than bank robberies, bigger than drugs. There's a war for the world itself. And I got dragged into it. My friends got dragged into it. We became the dragons, the one fighting back against all the factions that want to destroy the world or take control of it.
So I'm still looking around. And I say, it sounds like a bunch of mumbo jumbo to me. Are your friends cops as well?
My friends are dead. They're the ones that were in the back of the van, back of the armored car that went down.
And who killed them?
The SLA people and whoever is backing them. They've got a bigger plan, something that they've been staking out. You'll see on the board there. And whatever they're planning, it's going to be bad. Whatever they're trying to do, it's going to be bad for the world.
So I head back over to the court board to try to figure
and we'll
out what
cut
you're
back
talking
to you in a second. On Defon?
Yeah, I am walking in behind the other two, kind of taking it all in a little bit slower, as this is a more unfamiliar setting for me. And I walk up to the detective, who is kind of like trying to regain her strength a little bit. And I take the coffee pot and out of my robe, I pull a couple of like sticks of incense and I stick them at like cross purposes to each other and fumble around and find a match and like light it and then cover it with like a paper towel. And I start like kind of like I take her head and I start like rubbing her temples and I'm like, you're going to breathe this in just one moment. You will feel regenerated. And I'm going to try and do my healing chi move.
All right. Let's do this. That's a medicine check for you, isn't it?
It is spend 3 shots and 1 chi to reduce wounds by the result of your martial arts check.
Okay. I'm not going to charge you the chi since she's an NPC, but I will have you make that martial arts check here.
All right. Oh, not great, because that's got to explode. Yikes.
So your sense is that Detective Lewis is going to be up for a little bit longer, but then she's got to just crash. There's no way she's going anywhere with you guys.
Okay.
And she does listen to you. Clearly, she doesn't. She believes you when you put that stuff in front of her. She buys in. She doesn't have any hesitation about following your advice. And then she'll kind of lean back against the wall, and you can see her trying to keep her eyes open. So Victoria, Detective Juan, you guys are at the cork board. And you can see that there is a line from that SLA to, and some pictures of a sort of high-tech looking building. And you can see that there's actually a pamphlet push pinned in there. And it's like an investment brochure for a place called Genomics Solutions.
So I look at Victoria, and I'm like, I think I recognize this building. But I think I know where this is at.
And she looks at it. What kind of building is this? Where is this thing at, from what we can tell? Because she's like trying to get the thing of it.
It's in the sort of the waterfront tech district. It looks like a new industrial technological lab working with genetics.
She sort of looks at him and says, "Has there been problems there already?"
And Lou is kind of fighting back, sleeping. She'll say, "They were surveilling it. They were planning something. And we've pushed their timetable up. If they're going to do anything there, they're going to do it soon."
And I look over at Victoria. I'm like, does any of this make any sense to you besides the building? Do you see anything here that's out of the ordinary?
She sort of tears her eyes away from the edge of the board where the picture of her boyfriend is. She looks at it, tries to put all of her energy into concentrating. And I'm going to take another stab at this web.
Okay. Would you make another roll for me here?
Okay. Apologize. Oh, Jesus. I mean, I'll try my fortune. Essentially, she starts to do it, and her hands go back to over where that is, but I will try a point of fortune and see if I can recoup some of this. Okay, so that at least gets me to just a -1. So that's a 14 to figure out what's going on.
So the impression you will get is that there are several factions at war, and whoever this SLA is, they seem to be backed by someone they're unsure about. And you can see they've got news clippings and things, and some of what they've got on the board fills in gaps. Mysteries that you've wondered about, news stories that seemed odd. They've got some details there that fill in things, that answer questions. Despite yourself, you're like, a lot of this makes sense, even though a lot of it doesn't. But there's pieces and puzzles here.
Okay. And so she does a thing where she touches them in order, and she's sort of talking to Detective Juan and kind of going, just kind of quietly, see this here. Okay, so, and essentially, then our thing to do is that we have to figure out if we can come up with another faction that will interfere with them or shake their faith in whoever it is that they're working with. So trying to figure out who's on the periphery that might be our best wedge here that we could send in, tip off.
That's really interesting. I will say that you don't have enough pieces to pull that together, because you'd need to dive down into one of those, and you're clearly on a clock.
Okay, then is there one of them that we can make ourselves look like to them? One of them that seems to have certain trappings.
Let me have you make another roll, and then I'm going to come to Detective Juan and see.
Okay, I apologize. I just figure I want to make 10 men look like 100, or more correctly, 3 people look like 30. But
Okay.
so -2. I can't get positive on this. But so that's 13.
So you will see that the one of the factions that's clearly kind of come into clash with the SLA. They have some foot soldiers, a particular organization. What does that organization look like?
Let's see here. I'm going to say that the way that it's easy to find them is that they're very distinctive. They always wear striped shirts, and people refer to them as the mimes because they have pale makeup or essentially look pale. And like when they do what often appears to be smash and grab robberies is one of their MOs. So yeah, we'll say that they have a thing of there's a set of, I don't know, violent minds.
Okay.
Sorry about that. Google
That's okay.
acting up on me.
Okay. So Detective Juan, she's identified a gang that seems to be in opposition to the SLA. That there's some distinctive clothing to that. If you wanted to go that approach, so that's certainly a possibility. What are you thinking, Detective Juan?
First, I'd tell Victoria, I'd be like, "That was very insightful. We could use somebody like you on the force one day."
And she sort of steps and goes, well, I'm not. And then she sort of says, yeah, I'll put in an app next Wednesday if we make it through this.
I'll put in a good word for you.
Okay.
But we don't need to go in as any gang, because I have the best gang behind me. And it's the Hong Kong police force. I can make a call, and we can have all the backup we need.
Don't you have to have a reason that like sounds legit? Warrants?
This is Hong Kong. This is Hong Kong, baby. We don't need all that.
Well, I always suspected, but confirmation. I didn't expect that.
If I can make a phone call, I can see what I could pull from the department. So I look back to Fawn and Detective Lou to see how they're doing and perhaps find a telephone.
Okay. So Detective Lou looks like she is about to go out, and she'll say, Juan, be careful. Anybody you bring in there, you're putting them at risk. And she'll go out.
Fawn, is she gonna be okay?
And I look back and nod, and I'm taking the covers and covering her and putting her so that she can rest easily. That was my primary concern, was getting her well again.
And it does look like she is kind of gone into a recuperative sleep. So what do you guys want to do?
So I want to make that phone call to the force.
Okay.
See if we get some backup at this building if we're heading there.
All right. So let's have you make a police check.
All right, that's a +3, and my police is 15, so that's an 18.
So they will say, yeah, right now we're kind of stretched thin between the attacks over in that area. We've got a couple of reports of some other bank robberies we're on, but we'll get people over there as soon as we can. There's actually a lot of stuff coming down the pipeline, and we're trying to get people organized, so we're a little stretched thin. Is there something going on immediately at the scene, Detective Juan?
No, but there may be. We need some big guns. I'm talking SWAT, snipers, choppers.
Well, we'll try to dispatch as much as we can. I'll get some patrol officers over there right now. That's what I can spare at the moment.
We're gonna need more than patrol officers. Do what you can.
We'll try and get them on scene.
Thank you.
Do you need a car to pick you up?
Yeah, that would be very helpful.
Okay, and we'll dispatch a driver to you.
I can drive.
All right.
Somebody send me somebody trustworthy. That's a good shot.
Okay.
I hang up. So, see, he needs a warrant.
On Defon.
I mean, it sounds like we're moving out to that area. I don't have anything else that I want to accomplish in this area.
Okay. So we'll cut from that, and we're kind of speeding along here a little bit to essentially the rookie cop who did well on his marksmanship test and is sent out to pick up the detective. And he drives up, and Detective Juan pushes him over into the passenger seat, and you guys will peel the car out and head for Clearwater Bay Peninsula, and the kind of the waterfront there. We'd have a montage of the Hong Kong scenery going by, even as you're hearing all kinds of police reports coming in over the scanner, and it sounds like all hell is breaking loose. But when you get to Genomic Solutions, you will pull up. You see that there are a couple of patrol cars there, and there are some police officers, and they're talking to some people. Looks like business staff who are clearly, okay, why are you here? What's going on? And what do you do?
I would say we need to evacuate this building immediately.
There's a woman who looks like she's in charge, and she'll go, evacuate? We have test subjects in there. We can't just evacuate. We have subjects that have to be taken care of. I mean, we can't just do that.
You take care of them and evacuate. I have a doctor with me. I point to Fawn. He can help you.
Is he a vet? Are you a veterinarian? She turns to you.
And I'm like still staring intently at the rookie marksman guy who drove us here. Like, because I think the entire drive over, I've been trying to convince him that he should have nothing to do with any of this, that he's too young. It's too much to live for.
He talks about his, how his uncle was on the force, and no, he's got to stay on, and he's always looked up to Detective Juan, and being able to be here is just an honor, and this is the best day of his life.
I say, there is no honor in this. There is only justice.
Well, that's what I'm after.
If you're in this for justice, perhaps there is, but you are too young to give yourself over to true justice.
He kind of looks at you, Detective Juan, like, who is this guy? And
I say he's very wise.
I'm too young.
just soul staring into him.
Okay.
Like,
yeah, he's getting increasingly. You're a Sifu, so he can feel your eye beams on the back of him the whole ride.
So I say, Fawn, leave the rook alone.
And then they ask this question about a veteran, and I'm like, or a veterinarian, or
yes. Are you a veterinarian?
And I turn and look, and I'm like, you mean a horse doctor?
She goes, well, no, we work with simians, primates, ape subjects.
And I turn and look at the detective and the private eye, and I'm like, we can go in now. They're only animals.
So I tell the rookie, I said, Rook, and I point to the building that's directly across the street. And I say, get yourself a good vantage point and stay in radio contact.
Okay, I'll do that. Detective gives you the salute and heads off.
So I guess we head inside.
Yeah, this woman will take you inside. She'll say, I'm Dr. Phyllis Koo. I'm the head of this facility. Can you tell me what's going on? And I want you to imagine you come into this massive glass and chrome lobby. There's video screens up with all kinds of advertisements there, and you can see it goes back into scientific research areas and people with lab coats and clipboards moving around and all of that kind of thing. It's just like, what is going on?
And
Yeah, good.
no, I have to let you go because you're the one who called in all the forces.
Well, we have reason to believe that this place may come under attack. Maybe from gangs in the area, maybe from a rival corporation. But my assistant here, she might be able to tell you more.
And she'll kind of look at you.
Okay, I stared needles at him for a moment when he says that. And she goes, we have reason to believe that you've been watched. Set of people who have been doing, well, we believe that they're interested in some of your methods. Of course, I myself am not particularly familiar with the work that you're doing here. Could you give us a little overview? And she goes, I apologize.
Oh, she says, certainly. And she'll pick up like a remote and she'll kind of click through to some cameras that are clearly in the labs on the view screen so you can see. And it looks like they've got large apes. And it looks like they're doing some scientific research with those. And she'll say, we're working with genetic therapy for repairing brain tissue, which is a very promising treatment for a wide variety of neurological diseases. And right now we're working with higher level primates. And we're having very good success with that. And it's a very promising technology. And you can see the apes are, they're actually seem to be doing stuff with like iPads and stuff and doing like color combinations and things. And the doctors are standing there with clipboards going, oh, yes, okay, yes, and watching over them.
I'll turn to the woman and ask,
She shakes her hair, shampoo commercial, glossy black hair, and she looks at you. Yes?
are you doing research to combine humans with machines, or your primates here with machines?
No. Our work is purely genetic in an attempt to develop treatments for human diseases.
And I'll turn and look at the detective and the private eye. You are sure this is the correct place?
Sort of says, she looks and she goes, I saw the web or anything. I'm going to ask, is there anything that suggests that essentially in the scan that we've seen of all of the things and stuff, that any of these apes or something are somehow different or more advanced or more aware or something than the others, or something weird or different about them? Because we got a lot of this sort of super strangeness going on.
Why don't you make a private investigator roll?
Okay, maybe someday. Oh. Okay, hey, only a -1. And you know what? I'm going to succeed on one of these, so I'm going to roll a fortune. So that gives me an 8. So 17.
You definitely recall off in a section of the board that had a big circle around it, like was clearly weirdness we don't know about.
Mm-hmm.
It was written apes, cyber apes, time travel ? Uncertain.
So she turns and says, how did these apes have damage? I mean, you're repairing damage. Are you inflicting the damage, or do they come damaged?
No, we're actually working. Our work is to increase brain mass and brain material, and working with treatments and enhancing their abilities. We don't damage them.
Oh, all right. And she goes, which one is your most advanced one?
And she'll kind of lean and start to point, and you guys will hear a and there's that moment where you kind of hear the explosion, and then there's that sort of pullback of air, and the sort of the glass front of the building of the reception area they're in just kind of shatters out, and you'll see a car kind of flipping into the air before it comes down, shatters into one of the police cars there. You will see that like the air is kind of ripped open, and there is this ape, and it has like armored plates on it, and there's a sort of robotic arm with a chain gun on it and some kind of back weapon, and sort of following out beside it are these humans, but they're kind of stumbling, and they have implants around in their head, sort of Frankenstein, and they seem to be shuffling forward, and they are advancing on the building. So now we're going to roll initiative.
I think we might consider this a rescue that we're trying to foil.
Okay, 12 for initiative for on Defon. And Detective Juan is 10. And Victoria?
10.
10. Okay. So this, it looks like a enormous mandrill, you know, that kind of colorful ape. It comes forward, and you will see it raise up this submachine gun, and he will lay into the cops that are standing out front. And you will see that they kind of jerk back as he gets them. The other couple kind of dive behind their cars at that point. And bullets are flying everywhere. Alarms are going off. And it is an absolute madhouse out there. On to Fawn.
I step forward into the hail of bullets, and I'm trying to, like, I'm holding my hands out, like, trying to get this ape's attention, and I'm calling out to it. I'm like, why do you do this violence? What has brought you here? Have you not learned anything?
I fight for the future. My future.
You must learn the way to avoid the fight, the way to have peace.
Peace goes through you, and he will, you know, raise up his gun arm at you. What do you want to do?
Yeah, and I've continued to walk forward the entire time while I'm talking with my arms raised. And then as soon as he raises that, I think like it's just a few inches from my face, and I start to engage him in a martial arts fight, which is totally cinematically capable, but probably logically impossible against something this muscular.
Absolutely. He does that thing where you're a tiny little pale human, and he lets you walk up, and then whoop, you're up. So let's have you make your martial arts attacks.
Okay. That's 10 right now.
10?
Yeah.
So that will miss.
Okay.
And so you go to strike at him, and you're whipping around, but what does it look like? Why aren't you able to land that blow?
Oh, I think I do. I think I hit him like 10 times in a row, but nothing happens. Just ineffectuate.
He has a completely different body structure than you used to. You don't see where his chi points are. The armor is blocking a lot of those focal places where you'd lay it. You'll do that and then kind of stagger back. Realize you're going to have to figure out how to get him. One of these electro zombies will stride up at you and try to slam you with its great big meaty hand. So it will swing past you and miss. Another one of them, the zombies will come rushing forward and essentially leaps over the police car to knock down the cops that are back behind it. And then another one will come. Just it takes its full move to run in to the building, and it looks like it's like looking for a computer terminal or something, like it's running towards one of those. Detective Juan.
Yep.
What do you want to do? It just got crazy. Shit just got real.
Yeah,
and you will see running up to help out, of course, is the Rook.
Ah, the Rook. He was supposed to stay in that building. I was hoping to use it for covering fire, but no, he's here. So I yelled him, "Get down, get down. Go help them." And I'm pointing at the cops outside. Like, go help them. And I'm going to run and try to engage the zombie that ran inside the building.
All right. Let's have you make that attack. What are you using?
Martial arts. I'll use martial arts on him.
Okay. Let's have you make that attack roll.
That's a 6 and a 4, so it's a +2.
+2.
Explodes. There's another 6. And explodes again. Oops, I didn't mean to roll that many. That's a 5, so it's +2 +6, which is 8, +5, which is 13. +13.
13. So you will hit this electro zombie, and where do you hit it? How does this strike land? Because you hit it hard.
I think I just I hit it, center mass. With a very strong, body punch, hip turn, got my whole weight behind it, just hit it right in the chest.
Awesome. It staggers back. You see sparks kind of come out from the bolt spots on it, and it's trying to get reoriented, but I mean, you slammed it hard. Victoria. You're muted. You're muted.
Say, "Doctor, I suggest you go find a safe place, a janitor's closet, or somewhere that they won't think they need to search." And essentially, I'm going forward. What I want to do is get a look at this zombie, because I'm trying to figure out if these guys were fighting with SLA or backing SLA, which ones they are, because I don't know who's been pushed here.
So one of the things you'll note about these zombies is some of the other sort of implant stuff that you saw between Green Eyes and the Buzzsaw, it had this same sort of bad tech, real rough scale. It looks like they're clearly from the same surgeon or style.
Okay. Let's see here then. I think then, since the main one has been pushed down, what I'm going to do is, what do you say? I'm going to insult the tech. So essentially I'm going to go, "Oh, they had the same crappy tech that those SLA buffoons had." All right, and I want that to carry, because we have the atrium. I'm going to use the last sort of, sonic properties, that sort of oral properties of the atrium, the big room here, to just sort of make that echo around a lot louder than, it ought to, so that I know that the monkey hears it.
Okay, and what's your intent here? What's the effect you want from that?
I want to draw his attention.
Okay.
Okay.
You would like to get him to take a shot your way?
Yes.
Okay. Then let's
I have like a whole bunch of different abilities that are about, essentially insulting people and stuff, but none of them quite fit this situation. But it's clearly.
How about we use the needling remark shtick that you've got? Spend that fortune, and he gets a +1 to attack you, and you get a +2 to attack him.
Yes, that sounds lovely.
Okay. Then we will do that, and that will just cost 1 shot, so we'll come back to you soon, okay?
Okay.
This beast, the thrill kill mandrill, will, Andefan hears that sort of cry out, and he will kind of go past you, kind of jumps, comes down on the hood of one of these cop cars, crushes in the hood there, and raises this weird futuristic rifle and fires it at you, Victoria.
Okay.
Okay. Going to take a shot on you and will hit you for 11 points.
Whoa. Okay. So
boom, lets that loose and hits you probably in the shoulder, because that's classic, and sends you spinning back from the shot. Okay. Andefan, this thing has gone past you and is firing into the building.
Yeah.
Oh,
and and I am going to try and engage with it once again. I want to have the roll before I narrate anything in case it doesn't go over well.
Absolutely.
So we're looking at 10 right now.
Mm-hmm.
So that is not going to be a hit, I'm assuming.
Right.
Okay.
He's a little. He's tougher. He's a boss type character, so you actually need a 17 to hit him.
Okay, then I'm not going to waste chi on this roll then.
Okay. So you will move up, try to strike at him, and again, rain the blows, and you're still trying to gauge where he's coming at. And those electro zombies are moving up, maybe to try and pull you off of him.
Yeah, I think it was like I come up behind him and I try and strike at his knees with like clenched fists like this, and then he just like donkey kicks me and I go sprawling back.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm near the electro zombies.
Yeah, they're going to move in on you. And the next player, Victoria, you go next. You'll see On kind of do that strike out and comes back off of this thing.
All right. And essentially I've got his attention, which is what I want. I kind of make that gesture to Detective Juan to get the rookie out of the way. Essentially I'm going to take this shot and try to hold the attention of this monkey man.
All right. So you're firing your pistol, right?
Yes.
Okay. You've got a +2 to this result.
Yes. So I have a +3 for my roll. That's nice.
6 explodes.
6 explodes.
Oh, that's nice.
That can't. Goddamn, that can't.
A 6 explodes again.
Okay.
So let's see here. That was 3, 9, 11 plus 13 is 24 total.
Okay.
Sorry.
So where does this shot hit that it just absolutely blows a hole in him?
What is the sort of most evident tech that he has?
So he's got like a weird electro rifle on the one arm and a submachine gun on the other, and some like antenna aperture armor on the back, like a headpiece thing. So of course he's got one cyber eye.
Okay. I think that's what I'll do is I'll probably hit the thing for the cyber eye so that, essentially it blows the plate off.
And that shatters, and he pulls back, puts his big ape hand to it, blood coming out from between his fingers, and he'll give out this massive simian roar from that, and cries out. That clearly hurt him. I have a electro zombie going on you, on Defon, and it is going to try and strike at you, and it will kind of run up and is trying to grab at you and pull you back, and it's having no success. The sort of third one that attacked the cops has seen that you shot Thrill Kill Mandrill, and he rushes to kind of do a flying tackle on you, Victoria. And we'll slam into you and kind of knock you off to the side for 6 points of damage.
Okay.
The one that's by you, Detective Juan, kind of grabs on to like a power outlet and tries to grab onto your arm to just hold you and maybe try to electrocute you. And kind of catches onto your arm before you can pull back and does 6 points to you. There's kind of that static shock when he grabs you. You will see the last of those zombies will move over to engage the cops, and it looks like the Rook and the last couple of cops are battling with him. Detective Juan.
Yeah. I'm gonna try to get this electric zombie off of me.
Okay.
He's clearly shocking the crap out of me. Maybe I'll spin and just try to kick him off me. Just keep kicking him and kicking him and kicking him.
All right.
Maybe it's a mix of martial arts and electrocution. How fast I'm kicking him.
Sounds good. Let's have you make your martial arts attack, sir.
It's a 0, so it's 13.
13.
But it's a double.
Okay. So that will hit. Sorry, hang on.
So big hit.
Hang on a second. So that will hit. Of course, you can't go back on these things, which I hate. Okay, hang on a second. Ugh. Damn the app. So you will hit, and that's enough to do the last couple of hit points to it, and it will crash back in and kind of see it trying to bring its systems up, and it will slump down to the ground from those hits. The ape is going to take another shot at you, Victoria. Its eye is sort of bleeding out, and it will move up, and now it's going to just spray the area with the submachine gun. And it's going to fire that off. It's going to try and
If I
hit you.
defend, what does that moves me a shot back, and it gives me some. What is the advantage?
Gives you a
of it?
+3 to your
Yeah.
defense.
I will try that then, since I'm getting dogpiled. So
Okay. All right. And it will miss. Essentially, you will dodge out of the way, and it sprays over you. So paperwork, coffee makers, water coolers, all of that goes spraying up into the air. And then that will go. So it's going to go there on that. On Defon.
Yeah, I will try and engage with it again and roll before I narrate just to see how that goes. Okay, that's not good because that 6 explodes. So what happens? Another 1. -4. Yeah.
So again, trying to hit and not getting the effect you want on him. Won't be able to make that strike.
Yeah, this time I come up and try and, as he's lumbering forward, I try and hit him in his armpit a few times, and he again just like shoves me back, just not even paying attention to me.
Yeah, he is focused. That eye shot clearly has just enraged him. The zombie Bayou will come up and hit you hard for 12 points.
Okay.
Kind of knocks you back, essentially caught you as this the mandrill threw you and goes to strike and send you flying back. Victoria, the zombie that's by you, will take another shot. It tries essentially to grab you and choke the life out of you. And it will hit and do 8 points. Victoria, it is your action. You're muted.
So I've hit the -1 thing.
Okay.
Just so you know that. So essentially what it is I want to jump up on the reception counter and essentially run over to that water cooler. When I grab the water cooler thing up and essentially hit all that water across the electro zombie to try to short him out or short his controls out.
I like that stunt.
You know, and again, I'm yelling shoddy tech. So there you go.
Let's do that as a martial arts attack.
Okay.
And I'll give you it's an electro zombie. You're using water. I'll give you a +2 to that.
All right. I'll take it. I got things. So that gives me, I would have a 15. And then I have, so I have a 15 and I have the doubles.
Okay. So what was your total, your died roll total?
My died roll total is, you gave me a +2, so I had a -1. So, martial arts. God, I'm so sorry. So that's a 13. I was using the wrong scale. I was looking at the wrong one.
Okay.
So I end up with a +1.
Okay. So that will hit.
Oh, good.
And it will stagger back. The one that is on the cops, you'll see him swing an arm, and you will see the rook go flying as he swings that out, and you'll see him land and crash into the windshield of a car, and he's kind of the blood trickling down out of the corner of his mouth there. Detective Juan.
Rook! I imagine he's cinematically screaming, "No!"
We do that close-up shot of you reacting.
So is the one that ran in the building towards the computer, he's done for, right?
Oh yeah, you took care of him.
Okay. I'm gonna run to one of the cop cars and grab my my shotgun.
Okay.
And and take a shot at the ape.
Okay. If you make the ka-chink sound, you get a +1 on your attack. That's literally in the rules.
Yeah. So I grab the shotty and I just I rack it one hand.
Okay. Take your shot then.
All right.
Okay, and this is
That's a 2 and a +1, so +3. That's a 16, which I don't think is enough to hit the big guy, is it?
Let's see here. So your total is a +3 on the die roll?
Yeah. So that'd be a 16 total. Adding in my gun skill.
Oh, no, actually, that will hit. I'm sorry.
Judge a +1 for chink.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's actually easier to hit him than I said. It's looks like it's I think you have 15 or a 16 to hit him. So
Okay.
you will it will hit him, and essentially the pellets go into him. Now his attention is a little split. But while he would like to take care of this sort of loud flashbang that has hit next to him, his attention is still on that horrible woman who is critiquing his technology. And so he will take another shot on you, Victoria. Any dodge or anything I should know about?
Yeah, I will defend.
Okay. It will hit you for 10 points.
Okay.
You need to make what is called an up check.
Okay.
This is a check to stay up. Let me quickly look at what that is, since we haven't hit that rule here. Okay, you need to make a toughness check.
Okay, and I'm trying to get what? Am I rolling 2 dice? Am I
2 dice toughness, and you want to get a 5.
and am I adding in my penalties?
No.
So I get 5 plus 7 is a 12.
Okay, so you are still up.
Yep.
On Defon, it looks like Victoria is getting torn apart.
Yeah, and we will hope that the dice cooperate this time. Come on. Let's see what we get. 1 and 1 is 0.
Okay.
Double so it explodes, and I'll spend a
It won't
chi.
explode, but
Doesn't explode on a 1.
it'll do
Or
big.
not explode. Yeah, I mean, it does big.
Okay.
And I'll go ahead and spend a chi to add another die to see if we can hit 6.
6. Okay, so
That's
your
going to
value-
be 19.
and 6. Let me do that.
So I will do my. I guess I will be doing my damage to it. Do you want me to narrate that?
Yeah, tell me what that looks like when you hit it, because that's a significant slam into it.
Yeah. So I finally have like a moment after that electro zombie hits me. It's like knocked the braid out of my hair, so it's all just tasseled around my shoulders and blowing in the wind. And I have a flashback to my old master who unfortunately died because of my actions and not stopping him when he was training me on one of those wooden dummies with all the appendages.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a training session. Whenever I would reach out to strike them, he would hit my hand with his umbrella and I wouldn't be able to reach it. And he keeps saying, no, you must strike where the opposition is. You must strike where the opposition is. And finally, as I reach out to strike, he swings with the umbrella and I take the umbrella from him and knock all the limbs off of the wooden dummy. And then we come to the present and I do a flying leap onto the back of the giant ape. And I take my umbrella and I just smash on like some of his chips that are sticking out from him, some of his circuitry to damage it.
There's that spark and thing. You hit in the places where the shotgun kind of peeled open some of the plating there, and you're stabbing into it, and it's now you're right on it. So, and you are now a threat. So its attention is now on you, and it's trying to move to get you off. The electro zombie will hold off because he doesn't want to grab you while you're on there. Detective Juan, you will see the one who hit the rook sees you come up with the shotgun and makes a leap for you.
No, I'll defend. I'll try to defend myself.
All right. And he will miss, essentially slams both fists into one of these cars as you dodge out of the way. And then they are waiting for the next sequence. Victoria.
Okay. So essentially, I'm still up on the counter there. I'm walking back along it. I essentially see Anfon jump up like that. And so that's my chance to get a shot at this, that gun that he has sort of mounted. So I want to get a gun to sort of, because if I can hit it right, it'll toss him more off balance. So I'm going to go, I'm shooting for his weapon.
All right. So let's have you make that attack. So this is your. Oh, sorry. Back. Let me go back here. Victoria, let me go to your thing. Your shtick is the disarming shot.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So let's have you make that attack roll, and you're attacking through a kill mandrel. So give me the results.
Okay, well, hold on. Exploding 6. Okay, so, oh, geez, 7. I miss. I just, exploding 6 was not good. So
probably you lodge this thing. These guns are weird, and you will lodge a bullet in it, but it doesn't seem to do anything.
Okay.
Through a kill mandrel, you'll see it kind of pull up this weird pistol out of it, sort of side holster, and just kind of raises it up to try and put a shot in you on his back. So it will do that. And it will hit you for 7 wound points.
Okay.
And we are rolling initiative for the next sequence. So if everybody could re-roll initiative. Okay, now how do I? Hang on one second. It's doing the thing where it does that. Okay. Sorry. It's being particularly goofy. Tech, it is what is for dinner. Okay. 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 Sorry. All right, Detective Juan, what is your initiative? It 13. Is a 13. On Defon, looks like we're a 10. And Victoria, it looks like we're a 13. Detective Juan, you are first out of the gate, sir.
Okay, so I imagine this electro zombie that I just dodged. I kind of rolled out of the way and maybe up against the police car. And when I come out of my roll, I'm holding the shotgun at the ready. I'm gonna, pump one into this electro zombie.
Okay, let's have you take that shot then.
Oh no! All right, so that explodes. So that's -3, -7. So that's a 6. I think I missed.
Okay. So that will miss. I need you to roll a D6 for me. I'll tell you why. So
Six.
5. So 6. So you still have bullets in your shotgun. Okay. Victoria.
Okay. That first one was just an aiming shot.
Okay.
I'm going to go for a more classic shot to see. I'm actually not going to go for the disarm. I'm going to go for a classic shot now to get my confidence back in my shooting.
All right. Don't forget your +2 against him.
Oh, that's right. That wouldn't have helped the last one. Okay. Okay, so now it's 3 + 5. Actually, this makes it. So anyway, I got a 16.
16. Now, you could always spend a fortune die to bump that up because that increases damage.
Okay, that's what I'll do. It's easy to talk me into these things.
Fair enough. It's a resource, and I like you spending resources.
All right, so there you go. It's 21 now.
21. So that will hit even with your wound penalty, and it takes damage. It is clearly shaken. It is again, though, because Andefan is on him. He is going to take that attack on you, On. And he's going to hit you for 8.
Okay.
What are you at?
So that's going to knock me back 27 wound points, which on my character, it looks like I've got 60.
Well, you actually got, once you get past 30, then we start making up checks and things.
Okay, so once I get past 25, I'm going to -1. I don't know what that means.
Yep. -1 to your checks.
Okay, and then once I get past 30, I'll be at a -2, and we'll have to make that other check.
Yep.
Okay, so right now I'm at a -1. Okay, cool.
Okay. So what do you want to do?
That's my move. Yeah, I will continue to attack it from atop its back, striking the same point that I struck before.
Bringing that down into its exposed wiring.
Yep. And that explodes.
Yeah.
So we're looking at a 1/5/18 plus my 10 for that umbrella, I suppose, if you're looking at damage.
That's the damage that it does.
Yeah, if you're looking at damage.
Your total is a +3, +7, minus the 1 is a +6. Are you throwing in a fortune die?
No.
Okay. +6.
Yeah, that's a 19.
That will jam into it, and it kind of staggers back from that. Detective Juan, your action.
Okay.
Looks like the mandrill is on its last legs.
How many electro zombies are left?
There are 3 of them.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and try to take another shot at the one that almost got me.
Okay, let's have you make that attack.
Okay, so that's a 0, so that's a 13, but it's a double.
Okay. So that will hit it. And what does it look like when you land this thing center mass on this electro zombie?
I believe I believe he's like right on me, and like even the barrel's like right on his chest when I pull the trigger, and he just goes flying off screen.
Yeah, there's that pullback where you can tell that they jerked the rope to send him flying backwards.
I imagine he comes up to me, and like maybe I'm like, he thinks I'm not paying attention, but as soon as his chest touches the barrel, you hear the, and then yeah, and done.
Nice. Victoria, you are again before the zombies go.
All right. And this is it. I want to drop him. So I'm going to take a really classic, simple, middle of his bulk shot.
Probably see there's a spot where On has kind of pried and slamming with his umbrella and prying open spots on him.
All right. I am going to. All right. So that's a +2. Evens out my thing. So I have a 13 to hit. Do I need to roll a fortune die?
Yes, you would need to roll a fortune die.
I'll do it then. So that's a 18 to hit. And that's with my wound penalty worked in. That's why it's coming.
Yes. So you're on the back, you kind of pried this panel open. You see Detective Juan blow one of these electro zombies backwards. He's kind of turning and going to the other one. You kind of pried this open, and you see Victoria kind of brace and aim, and she will take a shot, and this bullet goes right in, and the ape kind of holds for a second and then freezes up. And like a tree falling, it crashes forward to the ground.
Yeah.
And you'll see the power kind of and fading out on it.
And I do that in the dust, dramatic slide back on a 3 points, one foot down, one knee down, one hand down. And I'll look it in the eye and I'll say, you should have chosen the way of peace.
Then you'll see that what little light is left in that cyber eye will just go out. And when he goes out, you'll see the electro zombies. They kind of spin around, and you'll see like their remote control is clearly lost. And then within a few moments, they will slump and collapse to the ground. Detective Juan, what do you do?
Well, after I catch my breath and I look over at Victoria and Fawn, and I kind of give them a nod, like, good work taking that thing down, because I didn't help them at all take the thing down. They did it all themselves. And I run over to the Rook to see if he's breathing at all.
It looks like he's on his last legs.
Come on, Rook.
Detective Juan,
Stay with me, Rook.
did we do it?
Yeah, Rook. We did it. We couldn't have done it without you.
I knew I'd be help.
No. Don't close your eyes. You need to get your medal.
A medal? I'll make my uncle proud. What about you, On?
I'm assuming that his eyes just closed, or
Yeah, they're just closing now.
yeah. As they close, I'll put my hand on the detective's shoulder, and he has chosen to serve justice. And kind of downcast, and you can't see my eyes because of the brim of my hat, but you see a single tear fall and strike the ground.
So that's sort of the closing moment. We see that. What is the close we see of Victoria as the camera is kind of pulling back, and we see those two in that kind of testosterone, that male bonding moment there with the dead Rook. What about you, Victoria?
I'm walking past the monkey, and I kick it, and I say, "Shoddy tick."
Awesome, and I think that's where we'll stop, since that was the fight there. Thank you guys very much for putting up with my shoddy tech with the app here, which does weird things sometimes. I will tell you, on this particular sequence, it auto does the initiative, and I think like all of the zombies must have rolled like 1s and 2s. So they were all way down at the bottom of the track. You guys had lots of opportunities and actions before they could go.
That was good.
Yeah, that's what I was worried about. That's why I wanted to kill the zombies first, because I knew they were doing big damage.
Oh yeah, they were hitting hard. Two of you were in really bad shape.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So let's take a minute and let's do Roses and Thorns. We can talk about how I ran it, about what you think of the system, about the story, whatever we want. Usually we start with a Thorn, and then we do a Rose. This game, I really hate that plus minus die. Been swingier than Fate dice. and I'm not sure. There's something about it. It feels very wonky to me. And as a GM, when I'm watching you guys having to struggle with that, it's a little frustrating. But that's just my impression. Sherry?
Let's see here. Again, it was a really short one shot, and I think I picked a character that was meant for a campaign. So it's like she's got some good stuff that I would have liked to get out. But I was, what do you say? There's the panic in a one shot where you're trying to pick a character and you go, private investigator, I know what they do in these kinds of movies. Okay. And I went with that. But yes, if I was, I don't know. That's all.
Yeah, no, and I think that reflects on the fact that the scenario that they have in the back is very fight in some ways, with very direct connecting tissue. And I kind of understand that for a demo. But it does act as a disadvantage to some of the character types.
Pat? I would say that if you're going to run it as a DM, just to kind of narrow the choices, just so that they do all have more things.
Yeah.
Does that make any sense? You can play that, but there's less mechanics to do things for you.
Yeah, if I were going to do this again, that's a good point. I would narrow it down to maybe 10 archetypes that fit with that. Pat, thorns?
I don't really have thorns. I think the damage system is a little hazy. I mean, like, if you just rolled, say, doubles and you succeed, like, how much damage are you putting on something? I know you want to keep it kind of hazy and kind of narrative, but, you really don't know how close you are.
Well, and that's the thing, is that the doubles are just like fiction to give you extra stuff. So, I mean, you're doing against their target number. So if let's say you're rolling a 13 and they have a target number of 14, whatever you beat that by, plus whatever your base damage is how many points you're doing, and they subtract their toughness. So we're seeing anywhere from 5 to 10 points on average, and then when the dice explode, doing a bunch more.
Right. Okay. That's what I was wondering about.
Yeah. One of the things is because I'm doing this app roll, I don't know if it would be easier if we were playing face to face to make it clear where everybody was at. Because one of the things the book says is to be pretty transparent about those numbers, but there are a lot of numbers to kind of keep track of. David?
Yeah, I think that's a good segue into my thorn. There's too much. I think that it's fantastic that you had an app that was helping you, but that just tells me that you need a computer to run this game, and that means it is fundamentally not a tabletop role-playing game. The combat mechanics made it very slow-paced, in particular in the first session where we spent like an hour doing about, 10 minutes of movie time. And there's no middle result in those, which I love about PBTA, that there's a middle result. I don't feel like we got a better outcome from the system by doing all that extra work. I thought you were a terrific DM. Like, oh my gosh, that was a great story, but the system didn't help us.
Yeah, because here's the thing is, those named baddies, we had one per person in each of those two fights, they have 30 hit points. That means that, let's say an average shot, you're going to need at least 3 good, successful shots to take them down. And boy, that seems like a lot of work for wanting to do something that's really fast-paced. I don't think those numbers, I think you're right, those numbers just don't work. It doesn't add up to make it worthwhile.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with the pace thing. I actually disagree with the boss fights, like especially that last one with the ape. It really did like fit the genre of over the top action. People struggling to take down a beast. It took 2 characters struggling. Especially with Fawn, failing it. I'm sure that helped prolong it. But you know that scene kind of, I think that fight kind of worked out.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think then if I were going to GM this on a regular, I would probably take the mid-class baddies, like the Electro Zombies, and then characters that you guys fought earlier. I would probably lower their hit points way down. But yeah, 50 points. The Thrill Kill Moundrel had 50 points plus some serious toughness, so he was a hard beast to take down.
Mm-hmm.
Roses. I really like the idea of it. I like the character archetypes and the way it's presented. Those character types look good, and the characters, when you look at the sheets, they look cool. It looks like you've got cool abilities. So I mean, I'm digging a lot of what's going on here, presentation wise. Sherry?
I just want to say my rose was, I had a great time playing with you guys. And you picked your roles and you played them awesome, and it was super fun, and I was giggling the whole time. It was just the best. And so the session was awesome. Roses all over the place for all of you.
Pat?
My rose is basically just fits in with the last thing I just said, with the whole setting and genre of Feng Shui is the over the top action and the over the top storyline. It's great if you can, when you fall into that stereotypical role. I mean, that's the whole reason I picked Karate Cop, because that is the stereotypical Hong Kong action star. And I think it does great for that. The mechanics are clunky. Yeah, we cover that in Thorns, but the overall genre is really fun.
Yeah, I want to now take a look at some of the other games that do Hong Kong action film stuff. Like I know there's Hong Kong Action Theater, and there are a few others, and I want to see what I can find to kind of do this maybe a little bit faster. David, I'm going to give you last word on Roses here.
Yeah, I agree with everything that everyone has said before. This game was so much fun. I have been watching anime all day long to kind of get in the mood for this, and this felt like an anime movie. Like, I don't quite understand what happened, but I know that I loved it. So it was perfect, I'm sure there was some message there, but my Western mind doesn't grasp it. And that's how really good anime seems to be for some reason. Everyone played their characters to the nines. That's so cool. And this game does a great job of having lots and lots of characters. Arguably maybe too many, but who knows? But it does a great job of defining what those characters are. I knew what the Sifu was, even though I never knew what a Sifu was. And it was a blast. I thought you did a great job of facilitating it. And I thought everyone just did a great job of playing their characters out.
Good. Thank you, guys. I had a great time running it. Despite the limitations of the system, I had a dynamite time. So thank you guys very much. I'm going to stop recording, and I will probably post these videos up next week, and I'll give you a heads up when I do that. All right?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Everybody have a good night.
Night.
Night.